Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm back again with another video of paper 1. This time the main topic that we are going to discuss is comprehension task and use of language. Now in this topic we have basically two questions. Question number 1 is comprehension task that has 16 marks in total, and then after that we have question number 2, that is use of language task. If you have watched the previous videos, I think you are already aware of this, that we have two different kind of questions in P1, question number 1 and question number 2. Question number 1 deals with comprehension task. Comprehension task means that you have to show understanding of explicit ideas and implicit ideas. These are two assessment objectives for question number 1 of that is comprehension task. And question number 2 is use of language task. Total they are 25 marks, and there you have to show understanding of the writer's attitudes and how the writer influences reader, or what kind of language the writer is using to convey his message to the reader. Now let's have a look at this. In comprehension task, the first thing, there are a few journal points that you all must remember. First of all, how you can attempt this question in the most effective way, how the candidate can improve their answer. First one, read the questions carefully. That means if you are not clear about the target, the point of the question, if you miss the point of the question, that means you won't be able to answer correctly. Read the questions carefully, focus the most important words in the question and given lines. Use the designated given space only for answers. I had been telling you before as well that when you are going to write the answer, if one line is given as designated space, your answer will be that one line only. If you decide to write something, if you take a huge chunk from your question and then you paste it there, that won't get you any marks. So if one line is given, that means your answer must fit in that one line. That one line should be your answer. There is no need to go for extra lines or keep writing or whatever you want to write. If you keep on writing, if you just copy the content from the text, that shows that you have no understanding of the text. You need to be very direct, very to the point, very precise if you want to show that the understanding is very good and you know actually what is the question and how you are going to answer it. So to the point and targeted answer is the key in comprehension task. As in comprehension task, for 16 marks you are going to show understanding of explicit, means something that is clearly written there, and implicit, something that is between the lines, something that is hidden there. You need to read it, is to understand it, and then after that you have to come up with your own answer. Mostly explicit ideas or the question based on explicit ideas, they can be copied from the text, whereas the question based on implicit ideas, they require that you write them in your own words. So focus, you have to be very clear about the designated space, that only use the space that is given there. Then identify the feelings and opinions, because today here in this task I'm going to discuss the feeling question. That's why identify the feelings and opinions which are supported by details. Provide evidence for the chosen feelings. Now, when a paragraph is identified in a question, the candidate needs to locate the answer within this section of the text. Like it is written there that read paragraph 1 or in paragraph 1 or in paragraph 5. That means you have to just go to that part of the text and read that. You will find your answer there. Sometimes there are actually two approaches. First approach is that I basically like that approach, that if you have enough time you can do it. So first of all, you can read the whole text so that you are clear about the text, that basically what is the central idea, what is the main idea, what is the theme of the whole text. If you have time, you should read the text. After that, when you start with questions, the other thing is that just start question number 1, read question number 1, read the line number, go to that part of the text, read that and find your answer. But if you read the whole text, it might take 7 to 8 minutes of your time, maybe less than that, 5 to 7 minutes, but it will make you clear about the idea and your understanding will improve about the text. So the candidate should rework and rephrase the text to answer the questions precisely rather than simply copying from the passage. In case of questions that demand implicit understanding. In case of own word question, if two words are given, provide the meanings or synonyms of those words. We will discuss this. Now, here in this video, specifically, I am going to discuss the question that usually you see like this. In paragraph 1, how did the writer feel at first about his job in the zoo? Give two details from the text to support your answer. So question is basically, I call it one feeling, two details question, right? Usually feeling questions, we have two feeling questions and they have 3 marks each. So this question also has 3 marks, and in which you just have to find out one feeling and two details. When the question is about the feeling, remember, you cannot copy something from the text. You need to write the feeling in your own words in very clear terms. And after that, once you have written the feeling there, you have to come up with the evidence of that feeling that you have mentioned. If you have written, the writer was very excited at first, while he got his job in the zoo, he was very excited. So the details that you are going to write, they must show the evidence of that happiness. You cannot do this, that in the feeling you are writing that the writer was excited, the writer was happy, but in the detail you are writing such kind of detail that shows that the writer was confused, the writer was perplexed, the writer was not happy, the writer was disappointed. So if you are choosing a detail, you have to stick to that, and there's no need to choose. Yesterday a student was asking me that, teacher, can we write two feelings? You can write two feelings, but that won't get you marks. You are going to get marks for only one feeling. So if you write two feelings, that also shows that you are kind of confused. So read the question properly, go to that part, understand the feeling, and just write one feeling that is given there. Then find the evidence of that. Now look at this question. You have done this question, you have done this text, that's why I've chosen this. In paragraph 1, how did the writer feel at first about his job in the zoo? Give two details from the text to support your answer. So that question is, I think, that is from Albert the Lion. I think that text. Writer's feelings. So it is written a writer's feelings. You are going to write writer's feelings in very precise way, like I have done. He was confident to perform well. So this is not just about the feelings. Now these days the kind of question, so you have to read it and understand it, that whether it is just about feeling or opinion also. You can take out the opinion also if that question is regarding opinion. So if that is feeling, usually you are going to give a kind of an adjective that shows what he was going through. Like here I have used the word confident, excited, happy, delighted. If it's opinion also, so you can write any remark, any comment, any feeling there, anything that you find there regarding that. So writer feeling is that he was confident to perform well. What are the details that show that he was confident? I was determined. Now when you are writing the details for this question, if you want to paraphrase, if you want to write that in your own words, you can write. But for any detailed question, the advisable thing is that you should copy it from the text. Copy it from the text the way it is written there. Just pick it up from there and paste it in your answer. So the way I've written, I was determined to show no outward sign of uneasiness when I was given this assignment. That shows that he was confident. Then I plucked up courage and showed indifference. Then he showed that he ignored everything and he showed indifference. Indifference means when you show that it doesn't make difference for you, so you ignore things. So these are two details that show that he was confident enough and he was going to do well in his job. So you will take out one. Okay, I think we have discussed this enough. Now let's go to the next example. Another one. In paragraph 5, how does the writer's mother feel about Hortense being in the house? Give two details from the text to support your answer. So, mother's feelings. She was there, I think, in the text, as far as I can remember, they have used the word that mother asked worriedly, or she was worried, something like that. So, that's why instead of using the same word, I have changed it and I have written it in my words. She was upset and quite concerned. This is the way how the mother was feeling. Now details are, I have copied the details from the text. Details, first detail is, I do hope he isn't going to be fierce, said my mother worriedly. So this is one detail that shows that mother was upset. She was worried when she saw Hortense. And second detail is, how Larry feels about fierce things. These two things, they tell us that mother is quite concerned that how her son is going to feel about it, or how this animal or this huge thing is going to behave. So this is the way you are going to write the detail. Look at another one. How does Mo feel about trying to climb Nameless? Give two details from the text to support your answer. Now this is a specimen answer. It is already written there. He is excited about the idea. They have written it. He is excited about the idea, and details are, and here if you see, he just leaps onto the smaller tree and he only takes. Now the first detail is, here he has written the two details in the form of one sentence, and then he has joined these sentences with and. Basically these are two details but sentence is one, so you can write, but my advice is that you should write two details in two different sentences, because when you write them together, it gives a kind of an impression that this is one detail. Now here we have two details. First detail is, he just leaps onto the smaller tree first, and after and the second detail, he only takes 10 minutes to climb the smaller tree. So these are two details. You can write them in this way, or you can write them separately. You could have done it like this, that he just leaps onto the smaller tree. One, done. He only takes 10 minutes to climb the smaller tree. So this is the second detail. Next is, in paragraph 3, how did the writer feel at first about being in the ice house? Give two details from the text to support your answer. Now this is a candidate's response. Look at this. Writer's feelings, the student has written, content with the cold and relieved and proud of himself. Now you see, what has he done? He has written, one is content. Second, content means satisfied. Content, and second thing he's written relieved, and then he has written proud of himself. There is no need to write that. One feeling that is relieved, that it's enough to give your answer. And then he has written the details. Okay, what is the detail? Inside, yes, he has copied the details. Inside, in pleasant contrast to the stifling heat outside, it was the temperature at which water becomes ice. One detail. Then initially, and see, feel at first, that's why I've underlined it. So you have to answer that, how did he feel at first? Do not miss such words, that sometimes students, they go for feelings that are described after that. So if first, at first, or at the end, or such time markers are given there, do pay attention to them and write your question. That's why you have to read your question properly. So temperature at which water are done. Initially, though dressed in a thin shirt and short breeches, I stood congratulating myself on avoiding the task of cleaning up. So he has written two answers. He has written quite a long sentences for details, but he will get his marks. So look at, if you want to understand these things better, you can take the screenshot, or you can just pause the video and read it yourself again. Now this is from the mark scheme. In paragraph 3, how did the writer feel at first about being in the ice house? Give 2 details from the text to support your answer. Details are: first, reward any sense of feeling satisfaction or relief or enjoyment, however expressed, liked being in there, pleased with himself, or happy. Now, what are the details? In pleasant contrast to the stifling heat outside, it was too hot outside. Congratulating myself on avoiding the task of cleaning up. Thinks he has escaped cleaning up. So these are the details, and the student has written the same details, but he has given the detailed a lot. He has written very long details. Now 3 marks for a response which shows a secure understanding of the writer's feelings with 2 details. You can read this. Now look at the next one. You have done this before. Okay, I want to show one thing more. I wanted to discuss that. Yes, this is about the same thing. The candidate demonstrates. This is about this the stifling heat outside, that question. See, the candidate demonstrates understanding of the writer's feeling with content. Relieved is also correct. If he would have written only content, he would have he will get his marks, and there he already got 3 out of 3. You can see relieved is also correct, but is unnecessary since a single feeling is required. I want you to see this, that a single feeling is required. Proud is incorrect, but it does not negate the correct answer. Yes, they in my opinion, when I'm reading this, when he's saying that I stood there congratulating myself, that shows that he was proud of himself, that I have avoided other tasks, and I've done something that I should be happy of, or happy about, or I should congratulate myself, or I should be proud of myself. So this also gives some kind of correct idea, but the word content is fine. You must go with one line only. Next, see, the candidate selects the correct supporting details from the text which focuses on the heat outside. Done. The second supporting detail focusing on avoiding the task of cleaning is correct. He has written long answers, but still his answers are correct, and he did well in his answers. Now look at this. In paragraph 6, how does I want actually I have made this resource. I want you to have enough practice. So even if you just take a stop here, stop the video, and try to write the answer yourself in your notebook, that would give you a lot of practice. That will give you good practice. So in paragraph 6, how does Matt feel on the morning of the swim? Give 2 details from the text to support your answer. Matt's feeling and details. Okay. Most of you have done this answer, so that's why I want to discuss those questions. In paragraph 6, how does Matt feel on the morning of the swim? So that is also a very specific question. Give 2 details from the text to support your answer. Feelings are that anxious. Reward any sense of Matt feeling nervous or embarrassed, however expressed in anxious, apprehensive. Apprehensive means scared, fearful. Stressed, tense, serious, awkward, a bit silly. If you write any of such words, you are going to get marks. And details are quite clear. If you write that he was nervous, the details are that assembled solemnly, the tension was palpable, conversations were muted. Most of you, if I can recall correctly, most of you did this question wonderfully well, and mostly I think the answers were correct. I think almost everybody wrote the right answer there. So if you write that he was embarrassed, so passing, amused, early risers watching, it was quiet, a sight, clad in nothing more than swimming suits. So if you are choosing that he was nervous, it has different details. If you are choosing that he was embarrassed, it has different details. So you should be mindful of that any feeling that you are choosing, you have to prove that he was feeling like that, and the details that you are giving, that is a kind of a proof, or that is an evidence of that. Now look at this. In paragraph 3, that is from Puma. In paragraph 3, how does Laura Feel about being in the jungle when she first arrives. Give 2 details from the text to support your answer. Now, Laura's feelings and details. Feelings, they are telling us that she was uncomfortable, she was uneasy, overwhelmed, scared, uncomfortable, cannot cope, lost, panicky, or frightened. These are different feelings. Main feelings are uneasy, overwhelmed, and scared. And these feelings, they are related to the words that I read earlier. Now, details are struggle to breathe, smells hot, looming vastness, jungle is everywhere, jungle is speaking, no language I've heard before, wave my arms wildly, whimpering, spinning on the moon. Um, if I can recall, or I think there was one child, I think she was a girl, she had written there that she was confused. And when I was checking the answers, so and the details that she has written, she wrote that she struggled to breathe. Now, if you are confused and you are writing struggle to breathe as an evidence of confuse, so they don't go with each other. If you are confused, you might not behave well somewhere, or you might feel awkward, but it has nothing to do with breathing. So you can write strangled, you can write overwhelmed with fear, or uncomfortable, uneasy, cannot cope. That shows that if you cannot cope with something, that shows that you cannot breathe properly. So any detail that you are choosing, that must show that that is the correct answer of that, is the evidence of that detail. Now just have a look at this. Now this is from examiner report, common errors and general guidance for candidates. The responses mostly provide focused answers to part questions. Reading back through responses to ensure they are complete helps candidates to target full marks. Whilst copying out the question can help some candidates to focus, in examination conditions it may add unnecessary time pressure and invite copying errors. Errors that affect meaning or add incorrect additional information may dilute evidence of understanding. So you need to, that means if you are not clear about, I think these are, yes, I want to talk about this next one. This is about all questions, and I want to just talk about this specific question. Okay, that ends here. Now let's read the last part. So when you are writing the detail, when you are giving a kind of an impression, errors that affect meaning, if you make such kind of errors, that the same way I've told you that if you are writing confused and you are giving the detail that shows that you struggle to breathe, so breathing has nothing to do with confuse or confusion. So that shows that even if you are copying details, you haven't understood the text well. To make efficient use of their time, candidates should focus on offering just the answers to each question, paying attention to the key words in the question and using the marks and space provided as a guide. That means if one line is given, one line is the answer. If 2 lines are given, 2 lines is the answer. Do not go for more than that. Taking time to read back their answers is easier when explanations are not overlong. If it is necessary to cross out an answer and or continue the response on an additional page of the answer booklet, then this is not just about this question, this is kind of an overall guidance about all the answers. On an additional page of the answer booklet, then correct labeling is essential. If you have to write the same question on another page, you don't have the space there, and you have asked for an extra sheet there, you must label the question correctly. To evidence close reading skills, candidate needs to be careful to follow precisely the guidance offered and refer to the correct section of the text. Careful reference to the keywords and the line numbers in questions. We have, I think I've discussed these things earlier in the video. I've started with this, so you must be clear about this. That was about one feeling, 2 details question. And when you are writing, you just have to keep this thing in your mind, that feeling must be written in your own words. Do not copy the feeling from the text and provide details. Just copy them from the text and write them in the given place. And any detail that you are copying, that must show that it is the evidence of the written feeling. Do not write 2-3 feelings, just write one feeling and read the question. If it is word like how was the writer feeling in the beginning, how was the writer feeling at first, how was the writer feeling at the end, do read these questions very clearly. Write one feeling, give 2 details, and those details must be the evidence of the already written feeling. Okay, now we are going to discuss next question in the next video. Allah Hafiz.